Good morning, everyone. It's Chip Smith at Smith Blueberry Farm, and I just wanted to carry you along this morning to give you an idea of what my morning looks like. I usually do what I call a walkabout every morning and just check the progress of everything, make sure we don't have any pests on the blueberry bushes, if there's any limb damage. I make notes of what I need to get pruned off. And just an overall health check of the plants. It gives me an idea if I need to mow between the rows and what my day is going to look like. I'm going to carry you along this morning. We'll take a look at the blueberries. As we're walking down to our blueberries, you can take a look at our new farm shed for this year. We've got the outside pretty much done. The inside we've done nothing, so that'll be another video. It's our parking lot, and that's our old farm stand that I've got to get torn down and moved. We've had so much rain lately that I'm having to mow grass about every 3 days, and I need to mow it again. Looks like it grew overnight. So our first 3 rows here are Climax, and then we've got Premier, and then as we go down we've got Tiffblue and Powder Blue. Climax is what I'm most concerned about because they've been our problem child over the last 5 years. And our last video that we posted, the 5 things that can destroy blueberry bushes, I was talking about our Climax and the problem we have had with mummyberry and the cycle that they go through every year. And we're trying to stop that this year. And so far, everything looks really good. It still may be just a bit early to say that we've mitigated the problem, but I don't see any early ripening. It's what it looks like when you've got that problem. It seems like they start to ripen early, and it goes through that process. They turn pink, and then they start to shrivel. But go back and look at that last video, and it will show you the cycle that they go through. We lost a lot of berries from that last year. So far everything looks good, and this is what I usually do. I'll check out each row, make sure we don't have anything going on. Like, I've got weeds. I've sprayed these with a light dose of vinegar and a little salt. If I used the 30%, they'd be dead in a day. But I didn't have any 30%, so I'm using what I've got. But weed problem doesn't look too bad here, and as we go down, they get really bad. Everything is really full this year, though. I really believe that I am going to put landscape fabric between every row. It just keeps it so much nicer in here. Don't have to worry about mowing. Alright, so I'm going to go down our last row of Climax, and then on my right here we have, this is all Premier. Man, they just look really good. Premiers look the best they've looked in a while, and they are just, I'm going to have issues with just the weight of the branches with all the berries that are on them. Once they start to ripen, they're going to get really heavy, and you can already see if you look down this row. See how it's filling in? It's going to get very narrow through here. I pruned these heavy this past year, but I may have to do a little bit more pruning. I'm going to actually stake these up, I believe. I've got some T-posts that I've got on some of these rows, and I'll just run some trellis wire and get them trellised up so that they're not in the middle of the row. It's almost, yeah, this is crazy. The rain doesn't help either. Once we get the rain, it gets water on the leaves, it makes everything heavy. Once it dries out, it'll lift back up a little bit, but yeah, I can already tell. This is a project I'm gonna have to get done this week. We're only about 3 weeks from opening for the season. All right, so everything looks pretty good on these rows. I don't see any signs of mummyberry so far, so that is good news. All right, we're gonna take a look down, and as you can see, we need to mow, and we definitely got a trellis. So I'll probably do a video on trellising. You can see I've used, basically this is just baling twine here, and I've got our T-post in, but I have a hard time with being able to get the baling twine tight enough to really hold anything up. So I'm going to go with basically, I think it's like a 14 gauge wire, and I'll trellis it just like I do my blackberries and raspberries. But you can see the weight, how many berries this has on it. Just the weight of this is, if I don't trellis these up, they're going to be on the ground. And look at that. It's going to be a good year. Yeah, if I can get some help, I may go ahead and try to get some landscape fabric down and get all this mulched. It'll just save me time down the road. You can see I've got some areas where I've lost bushes. I've got some transplants that I've got potted up at the propagation house, and they'll be ready to put in the ground this fall. So all these will be replaced, pretty much replacing everything with Premier up here. Even if I lost Climax, we're going to go back with Premier in those areas. And I've got some little areas that have died out. You can see this is pretty much just dead. So I'll come back in here and prune all this out, and that way it'll be cleaned up. Got a couple little areas, so I'll get all that done this week. I've got a laundry list to do, that's for sure. But you can see right here, this whole bush has died. So I'll come back in here and get that cut out. We pruned it back heavily last year, thinking that hopefully that would help it flush out, but that didn't happen. And this is a huge problem that we've got to get solved. And I just stepped on it. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that is a fire ant hill, and they will light you up. So I've got to get all those taken care of as well. So we'll add that to the list. I know there's a couple of hills I saw yesterday. I did not see that one, but I just stepped on that one. So luckily I've got shoes and socks on. All right. Yeah, here's one of those giant ant hills. That one right there, that's a monster of a hill. So we got to get that one taken care of. They're just terrible this year. They're popping up everywhere. There's another one right there. So we'll take care of those. That'll be a constant battle all year. Okay, so we get down to our Tiffblue. I almost wish I had not have planted these, but it does extend our season out. Let me show you what happens. These things are so vigorous that look in between. So down underneath, they shoot up. Now some of these are weeds. We'll come back in and get all this weeded out. But they'll shoot up new shoots all throughout, and they'll continue to do that all summer. This whole thing will fill in. This whole little area, this gap, will fill in. And got a lot of weeds in here. I've already weed-eated. Actually, I took a brush cutter and I go in between. I cut everything down in between the main bushes just to keep it clean. See, look, here's already. Now I cut every one of these over the winter. And there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Just in there, 16 new shoots. And these, if I let them go, they'll be 6 foot tall by the time winter gets here. And I would rather the energy be pushed to the main plant versus in between the bushes. So we'll come back in with a brush cutter, get all that cut down. And we've got this row and this row yet to cut, and this one. I've cut one side, I didn't get the other side, but you can see it just fills in. It's awful. And I just stepped on another. Anyway, these get so tall. We're gonna really, I worked on pruning these back and getting some of the height out of them this past year, but they'll get 10 feet tall easily. So we cut a lot of the height out, and I'm gonna keep lowering them each year and see if we can get these down to about an average of about 5 to 6 feet tall. Try to get more of the growth coming from the bottom instead of out of the top. And the way to do that would be to come in here and prune down here, and then all your new growth will come from down here. So yeah, you can see like right here, there was a cut here last year, and then you've got these 2 shoots here coming out, and here. So it's just a matter of how tall do you want your bushes to be. And these get so leggy too. See how this is just, I mean, it's a pretty good stalk. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, it's probably 3/4 of an inch in diameter, but yet it just wants to lay over. So I'll probably come in and just cut it completely out. Got one here. Now I pruned up until I got to about, I think right up in here, and you can see the difference. See how thick these are? And on the right side here, and you can see how tall they are. These are every bit of 10, 11 feet tall from where I'm standing. Now we are on a slope, and I'm on the lower side of the slope, but still, it's way too tall. People are not going to be able to pick that, so it's useless to even have it. I just ran out of time. I got tired, and so these didn't get pruned this year, or this past year, but they will get pruned this year. It's like walking through a jungle in here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm just for people to be able to pick, I'm going to have to prune a lot of this, go ahead and get it out. So we'll do that. We'll lose some berries, but that's okay. They're pretty full. And down here, we've already, as you can see, we've already cleaned out between them. I just need to go back and rake everything up and get it over to the compost pile. And here, this is our early bush. This is how I know when we're going to open. We've got about 2 weeks from the time this bush starts to ripen. Our Climax and our Premier will start ripening. So this is our early indication bush, and it's almost 2 weeks to the day. But you can see this bush is already starting to ripen. There's some nice berries there. Let's taste one of them. That's my first blueberry of the season. But yeah, it's really starting to ripen up good. So we've got about 2 weeks before we open. All right, I'm not going to walk down all these right now, but these are our powder blue. And I'll come in, I'll get things mowed, raked up today. And anthills, there's another anthill. Gosh, they are bad this year. I thought they were bad last year. But yeah, these are the powder blue. And they will be our August picking berries here at Western North Carolina. We'll be picking those about first, second week of August. Boy, we've got a lot of projects to get done in the next 2 weeks. Jackie's redoing our sign for this year. We're gonna have a planter out there as well. We'll have flowers in. It's gonna have lights on it, and it's gonna look a lot nicer than our old one. I need to come down here and weed eat and spray this ditch line. It's a never-ending chores on a farm. Now I've got about 630 bushes, give or take 4 or 5, and it's a lot of work for one person. So if you're thinking about planting bushes for U-pick or for wholesale, keep that in mind. It's labor intensive. Pruning is probably one of the biggest chores. It takes a lot to prune bushes. It's probably something you'll need some help with if you're talking 2 or 3 acres bushes. I would consider getting some help. That's going to be something that you'll need to budget in to your overall farm budget. I try to do as much of it as I can. I do have some guys that help when they have time, and I want to reach out to them and see if we can at least get 3 or 4 more rows up here of landscape fabric and mulch down. Still waiting on for this row, this is our blackberries here. And I'm waiting on our triple crown to come in to get those planted this year. They back ordered them on me, and they're still back ordered. This is our Chester, and we're gonna put compost on top of this, go ahead and finish with wood chips on either side, get this thicker. I want about 8 inches of wood chips all the way down. These are 200-foot rows. I've got some Primark Freedom blackberries here, and then the rest of it is filled with Heritage and Jacqueline raspberries. So we've got about 70 raspberry plants, and we've got plans for on down past. That's all going to be blackberries and raspberries as well. And this is the cut flower farm area. This is what we've got planted so far, but we've got another ½ acre going that way that we'll be able to add to as the demand increases. But yeah, right now, and we'll do a whole nother video on this. This is more my wife's project. But it's coming along good. This will be U-pick as well. So we're just continuing to add each year to extend the products that we have, and also our time frame of picking. So right now with blueberries, we start around June 15th each year, and we're done by the first week of August. So hopefully we can start a little bit earlier and finish up a lot later. We're hoping maybe end of September. So we'll see. Guys, I thank you for walking with me this morning on my little walkabout that I do each morning. It gives you an idea of what I'm looking for, and just planning my day out to see what I need to get done. There's always stuff to be done on a farm for sure. Thank you guys again, and if you'd like to see more of these type videos, write your comments down in the comments section and ask any questions, and I can address those on our next one. I'm going to do this once a week. See how they go. If you like them, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and until next time, keep on farming.